I've not used this before, so I'm just trying it out.
Hey man, it's been too long since we sat down and that just feels wrong. Allow me to give my head a shake, open my eyes and fix a mistake. Do you wanna come over? Just like the old times, we'll hit pause and then hit a rewind. You wanna come over? Just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly. Hey buddy, no strangers here. These times I hold them dear. My door's open, so come on in. This was great, let's do it again. Do you wanna come over? Just like the old times, we'll hit pause and then it'll rewind. You wanna come over? Just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly. Do you wanna come over? Just like the old times, we'll hit pause and then hit a rewind. You wanna come over? Just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly.
Yo, Joe, full force, or should I say Cobra? Because today we're looking at a Cobra character. Don't tell Nate, though, because he's learning all this stuff. He's going to figure it out as we go. Now, what I like about this show is that I know what I know, right? And I can talk about what I know till the ends of days. But I like to hang out with people who can either teach me something or I can teach them something. Well, I'm not going to teach them anything. I don't know a lot, but I know that 3D Joe's is the best website to go for G.I. Joe. So thank you to 3D Joe's for letting us have all these images that we will have today. Now I'm going to bring on my mate, Nate. Welcome, the Retro Tinker. How are you, buddy?
Oh, I am excellent. I am ready to learn.
Ding, ding. Are you rising up?
Yeah.
There's that little earworm for you. We'll say a quick hello to the chat, and then we can catch up a little bit. Who is here today? TJC. Good morning to you, or good evening from us. Phil's here. He's saying good morning to TJC. It's nice to have you here, buddy. Eldor, Master Versal Toy Hunter. Good to see you, my friend. Chasing 80s Toys. G'day all. G'day to you. Rob Vegas, shouting it out loud, saying, yo, Joe, and g'day, everyone. It's so great to have some people on board. I'm going to do the Clubhouse roll call real quick. And let me just get on there. I've got a whole thing going here. Clubhouse roll call. Wilhelm Toy and Hobby, Casey Wheeler, Handsome Man Ratface 44 reviews, David Samuel Blaine. Hey, it's you, the Retro Tinker. Cindy K, Sunny Sundries, Jonathan Sorensen, Happy Accident, Joshua Allen, Go Figure, Scuba Pete, Phil, Treasures for Trigger, Hans Chow, Ken Poe, Brendan Haley, Jason Clark, Space Commander, and our Clubhouse members, which is Cindy K, Gaz, Beta Ray Bob, Spacey, Jason Stillwell, It's Chad, Ryan Sweeney, and Keep on Collecting. Now, what you got to do is be either a Patreon supporter or a channel member, and you get a whole bunch of cool emojis and stuff that you can use, and you also help us out on the channel as well. Nate!
Yes.
You look good, buddy. I like your shirt.
Thank you.
Turtle Power.
Wrong brand for this show, but whatever.
No, it's all good. The good thing about the Clubhouse... What's that?
I don't have a Joe shirt yet.
Well, I don't either, but I thought this was close enough, right? Some sort of representation. So now we talk about O Ring a Bell is the real G.I. Joe show where we talk about G.I. Joe characters that may or may not ring a bell with you.
Correct.
So far, who have we looked at so far, Nate?
We have looked at, well, last week was Sarge, and the week before that was a mental blank.
It was Recondo.
Recondo. Yeah, see? First try. Got it.
Right, I knew you would. You were just testing me.
Yeah.
So I hear that Big Boa here that we're talking about today does, in fact, kind of ring a bell with you.
He may just ring a bell. I mean,
Excellent.
He's got jiggly legs and only one glove, but he does ring a bell.
Well, if you've got a mean right hook, you only need one glove, right?
Yeah.
So I, too, have brought along my Big Boa. This is mine.
Nice.
He's got his
I remember him from the SWC.
right. Yeah, he's coming up shortly in his own premiere episode. But that's a handmade little robe for unboxing robe.
It looks awesome.
Not to say that yours doesn't also look cool. Yours has got the wobbly leg syndrome.
Yeah, that's fine. I
That just means
I get
got
that syndrome from time to time.
but it's got super kicking power. Your version,
Yeah, like the Flash.
exactly. You know what I'm talking about. I respect that. Big Boa rings my bell. My favorite Cobra. There are those now because you're pretty new to GI Joe. There are those that lean very heavily in the military aspect of it, and don't really go for the gimmicky side that came later, like Croc Masters and our boy that we're talking about today, Big Boa Raptor. Are you familiar with Croc Master or Raptor? Or
Yes,
Raptor?
I have Crocmaster. My brother-in-law actually gave me Big Boa and Crocmaster and a couple of other Joes.
Yeah.
In a little pencil case a few years back. And Crocmaster is there. He's got his whip. He's got his crocodile. The crocodile's got his leash. It's all. I think it. Might
Excellent.
Be, yeah.
Well, when we do our Croc Master, I almost did Croc Master for today, but I thought no, Big Boa. That's where we'll go. Because I feel like I think we will touch on Croc Master eventually. Big Boa. I just thought he's got actually quite a bit of a rich history behind him too. Which should we kick into the show?
Yes.
All right. Let us get on to Oh Ring a Bell.
It's time for everyone's favorite educational program, Oh Ring a Bell.
Ding, 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 ding. How appropriate has that little intro become for today's episode? Ding, 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 ding. Thanks for doing that little intro as well. I love it. Thank you very much. Very creative. The links to Nate, the Retro Tinker, is in the description. If you aren't already subscribed, please do so. You will not be disappointed. Speaking of not being disappointed, here's our main man, Gaz.
Gaz.
Good morning, legends. Here's a coffee, mate. I made it for you earlier. You can come over and grab it. We're talking Big Boa. However, we can't talk about Big Boa straight off. I know you're excited to talk about Big Boa straight away, but we can't do that just yet.
Okay.
We need to go a little bit further back into the Wayback Machine and talk about someone else that was going to be a G.I. Joe and potentially a really good foil for Big Boa. And that is none other than Rocky Balboa.
Ah, okay.
So there was a time where Rocky Balboa was going to be an official part of G.I. Joe. In fact, this was printed, and then the subsequent issue after this, it was retracted. It said, Rocky has never been a part of G.I. Joe, will never be a part of G.I. Joe. But how far into G.I. Joe do you think they got with Rocky?
Oh, it would. Well, they got obviously far enough to make a file card.
Far enough to at least make this. So it says here, file name Balboa. Balboa? Big Boa. Coincidence?
I sense a conspiracy.
There's a little bit of a conspiracy here. Code name Rocky. Well, when your name is Rocky and then your code name is Rocky, I mean, it's not really a good code name, is it?
That would be like, if Cher had a filed card.
Right.
Cher and code name Cher.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit lackluster. He's wearing a bit more of a Rambo style headband there. And spoiler alert, Rambo is the reason why he didn't end up coming to G.I. Joe, because some other property that wasn't Hasbro picked up the Rambo line. And who did Rambo? It should have been Remco, because that would have been cool. Rambo by Remco. I don't think it was.
I don't know who did that.
Doesn't matter. We're not talking about Rambo anyway. We're talking G.I. Joe. So secondary. So he's a personal combat instructor. So he fits the same vein as people like the Fridge and Sergeant Slaughter. Secondary military specialty is special services. I don't know. What could that be? What's a special service?
Probably makes a good omelette.
It probably does. Yeah, yeah. I think he would too. He could really beat an egg, right?
Yeah.
Right? Ding, ding. So how does a well-known boxing champion serve out his reserve time? He can take the easy route and be a showpiece. I need my glasses for special services, giving exhibition bouts and racking up brownie points for officers with no combat ribbons and shiny trouser bottoms. I could really go some shiny trouser bottoms, so that would be flash. Or, excuse me while I squint even more, or he can take a secret posting to train the G.I. Joe team in the, what's that say? Filler? In the finer points, there we are. I got there in the end. In the finer points of the sweet science of pugilism.
Pugilism.
Yeah, that's a big word. What does it mean?
It means to beat something with your fist, basically.
Perfect. The assignment to the Joe team would be strictly under the counter, so no special pay. Oh, I'm out. No extra privileges, like they're asking me anyway, and no publicity. All he would get would be the satisfaction of doing something for his country. Now, if it was so secret, though, what's that?
And then he didn't, clearly.
And then he didn't.
He read that part and just, I'm not doing it, guys.
I'm out. No extra pay. I'm out. It was Kaliko. Thank you, TJC. I knew you'd come through. Thanks, bud. So maybe so there's two ways of looking at that, right? Maybe he went, no extra pay and no grandstanding. Maybe I won't do it. Or maybe he did do it, right? And it was so secret, they retracted it. And that's why there was a little thing saying that he's never been a part of G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to try and read again. Here's an excerpt from a memo from Brigadier General Abernathy, otherwise known as Hawk. Here I go. Wish me luck. He's one of the best there is with his fists, and nobody can touch him with pugil sticks?
I guess so.
Nobody can touch him with those weird sticks. But that's not the reason I want him training the Joes. Anybody can teach technique. I want the Joes to see what is to take I want to see what it is to take a beating and come back fighting, to stand up and take everything the other guy's got to give and give back at full measure. That's worth more than a tip on how to perfect your right hook.
Well,
all right, now
one thing's for sure: the Joes would have the tenderest beef of any military.
That's right. The chef is loving the pounding that his meat's getting. Wait a minute. Anyway, moving on. I think in the future what I'll do is I'll zoom in on this. That's what I should have done. I should have zoomed in on it. Silly duffer. Anyway, moving on. So that's Rocky. How far into it did they get? Did they just write this up and retract it?
Well, obviously they went as far as making boxing gloves.
Right.
And I don't know, his legs kind of look a bit like sweatpants.
Yeah, I guess they do kind of a little. Maybe.
Maybe.
So his code name should have been the Italian Stallion. I don't disagree with you. That's pretty good. Well, they went as far at least as to create this figure sculpture sheet. So they've sculpted them up. Now, that waist piece, anyone that's familiar with G.I. Joe might agree with me here, but that waist piece looks a lot like Tracker. Tracker's waist piece had that tie off in the front. So maybe they reused it for that.
Yeah.
I also read somewhere, and I don't know if it's factual or not, but they reused the arms and they retooled the body, the chest, to make Big Boa. But don't quote me on that. It just rings a bell a little. Specialty should have been I knock people out. Yeah, well, Mama said knock you out, didn't she? So they went as far as to at least go this far, right? And that's a pretty good representation, I think, of Sylvester Stallone. However, I do also think that this, if I didn't know this was Rocky, I would have thought it was Rambo.
Yeah, true. But with imaginative play, it could have been
either one. Now, do you think they got any further than just having this sculpture sheet for if they did want to sculpt? Because if they haven't gone as far as to even commit to having Rocky, surely they didn't go any further than this.
Well, if they got this far, there is always a chance that they mocked up a prototype, or
there is a chance that they did that, and that's exactly what they did. So this would have been essentially what would have looked as if they would have made the Rocky figure. The gloves are a little bit different to the ones we got. Kind of the same, but a little different. I mean, boxing gloves. You can't. It's a round bulbous thing on the end of a hand.
Yeah.
I think it's actually pretty ingenious the way that they actually did the boxing gloves for G.I. Joe. However, this does look. It looks okay. Like it's not painted up or anything.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that would have been a cool figure.
If we can get just a close up, whoop. And then you kind of look at that and you go, I'm all right with it. I'm okay with not having Rocky, and that's a good representation of Sly Stallone. But yeah, I don't know now. Now I'm
quite look like a Joe face.
Not at all. Yeah, but that's it. That's all they did with him. So it started off with a little bit of Rocky Balboa. Would you have picked up a Rocky Balboa G.I. Joe, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I think a lot of kids would have. It would have been a moneymaker, that's for sure. Mini boxing gloves? Man, that blew my 8-year-old brain.
Yeah.
Blew it away. Yeah, I've still got the brain of an 8-year-old, so. But I thought that was a little bit of interesting history to the beginning of Big Boa. But let's get into the meat and potatoes. And we're looking at this bad boy right here. Big Boa, the Cobra trainer.
It's cool.
Isn't
I
it?
like that. Yeah. It's excellent.
If you saw this on the pegs back in the day, would you have gravitated towards this action figure and potentially taken it home?
Absolutely. Mainly because, like I know he's got it's a helmet, but I would have been like, that's a robot man. Like,
right. So apparently
that is cool.
Can you guess what the inspiration for Big Boa was, other than Rocky and Rocky Balboa, but the look of him? What do you think the inspiration was?
I'm not sure. It definitely looks familiar.
It rings a bell?
Yeah, it rings a bell. I can't put my finger on what it is. To me, it looks. This would predate it probably, but it kind of reminds me of like there was the robot in Killer Instinct, or in Mortal Kombat 3 there was Sector and
right.
Yeah, that kind of style.
All right, so I want you to think back to we're thinking movies here, right? So Ron Rudat has said that he got inspiration from 2 different movies from back in the day. Let me give you a hint. One of them was made in Australia. So there's our Australian connection. Mad Max, yeah, some of the Mad Max looking fellas. He was given a little bit of inspiration from there, and also a movie I'm not sure if you've seen or not. Beastmaster. Have you seen Beastmaster?
No, I haven't actually seen Beastmaster.
Well, we're going to have to rectify that because I know that some of the fellas in the chat here and Adam from Go Figure love Beastmaster. So there's an idea.
It's been on the to-do list for many, many years, but I've never got around to it.
So I love this character. It's so wacky. It's so zany, but I think it fits for a Cobra trainer, right? I mean, who's really training Cobra, right? Apparently it's this guy. And could you imagine being put through the ringer by a guy with a big ass helmet and metal studs with spikes along his chest?
You imagine he's training you in the ring, and you know full well that you can't hit him because he's wearing a metal helmet.
Right.
You're like, dude, how's that fair?
It's not fair. So not only does he have a helmet and a breathing apparatus, but he also has a spike. So no matter where you hit him, really, it's not going to be good for you. Beastmaster is a classic. So I just love the look of it. I think that the card art itself, it just really it pops, right? It's good action pose. I do have a theory, and I'll move it on to the next image. Great card art, but I do have a theory, and that is that this punching bag that says Joe on it. Now it's assumed that he's punching G.I. Joe, right? Pow, punching G.I. Joe. Speaking of pow, in with a punch comes Kimbo. Yo, Kimbo! Thanks for tuning in. It's only our 3rd episode, but thanks for finally showing up. We appreciate it. But my theory is that the boxing bag, I think, was intended for potentially Rocky, and it says Joe because it's a Joe brand, not as in Joe as in I'm punching Joe.
Yeah.
Either way works though.
Yeah. This
may be potentially one of the best pack-in accessories in all of G.I. Joe, and I'll tell you why. He's a boxer, so he needs something to box, right? Obviously, he can box some baddies, right, or some goodies, depending on how you want to use him. He can box, someone in the ring, or he can box fellow Cobras, or he can box fellow Joes. But when you want him to train, what's he going to train against? This is the perfect accessory for it. Yeah. Great little boxing bag. Why do I keep saying boxing? Boxing bag. Good little boxing bag. I love it. And the gloves, the stamped Cobra logos on them.
Yeah, that looks sick.
Does yours still have it?
Yeah, it does.
They can wear off. Hang on, I'm gonna solo it so we can see your crisp. Whoop.
Almost.
Oh yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
Nice. So good action pose there, and then we get another little side on. Boop. Love it.
Yeah.
It's a bit tall. Just give him a little one of those. I think. Oh, here we go. From Phil, I'm bumped. Perfect. I'm bumped. Like pow, bumped. Right. He's bumped that Classified didn't come with this. Hasbro gave themselves an uppercut there. Yeah, true. They did give him a removable, not removable helmet. They gave him a separate head with the helmet removed. I don't think that the modern era version came with it either. He came with some dumbbells and swappable gloves. The gloves didn't actually slip over. Oh, he's bummed. Yeah, he's bummed. Did you get it though, Phil, or are you getting it? I'm not really big on collecting the classifieds at the moment, but it does look pretty good. But it comes with these are the accessories, right? You got the boxing bag, you've got the stand, you got glove 1 and glove 2. Then you've got the dreaded air hose that connects into itself.
So many air hoses in Joe.
There is so many. But the thing is that the air hose connects from the back of the helmet to the front of the helmet. So what is it doing?
It must be like recirculating his breath.
That's all it can be doing, right? It's not like it's attached to some other apparatus. So I don't know. Is it just for show?
Or it's just he's a germaphobe. And
yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like a Bane thing, right? Maybe he's got like some gas that fills him with some sort of steroid. He's definitely
boxing gloves.
The front part is a filter, and then it blows out to the back of his head. I'll say this though, also, and I'll just solo myself. Sorry to the people at home. You can't tell me the top of his head doesn't look like a toaster.
It's
right? He's got the spikes also on the noggin. It's bad enough he's got a helmet, but he also has spikes on there. Let me just remove this solo layer. Woo. So does yours have the hose or no?
Nah, hose is gone.
Now there was. Sorry, go ahead.
I said just a hose is long gone.
I don't think it really matters with the hose. To be fair, I think it looks fine without it.
Until tonight, I wasn't even really aware that there was a hose to lose.
Right? Oh, damn.
No, they're like, okay, yep, there's a hole there. When did that hole get there?
So the Indian fun school version of Big Boa, it mostly looks the same as this, only the head is all grey. So no paint apps on the head at all. It's just all grey, silvery grey. And it doesn't even come with an air hose. So imagine that figure, but with a big grey head and no air hose. And that's basically what they got with Fun School.
Yeah.
And the boxing gloves that they came with didn't even come with the Cobra symbols on it.
Okay, they really cut corners.
They really did. But let's have a look at Big Boa. Right now, we're on our way to try and find a Australian GI Joe or Cobra. And I think that it's only fair that it tells us that they're from Australia. This, he just says file name unknown. Doesn't say where he's from necessarily. We're going to have a look and do a little bit of a read through again. Thankfully for me, actually, you know what, Nate? Do you want to read this one?
Sure.
Okay, I'll leave it to you.
So, codename Big Boa, Cobra Trainer, file name unknown. Cobra troopers can be an unruly bunch at times. They aren't motivated by patriotism, unit loyalty, honor, or sense of duty. It takes a brutal, unfeeling taskmaster to whip them into fighting. Trim and Big Boa fits the bill to a T. He has a voice like a bullhorn, fists the size of frozen turkeys, and the disposition of a rabid grizzly bear. Fists the size of frozen turkeys. I want to see that.
Gobble.
Comically oversized gloves for him.
Yeah. Yeah, make them bigger, Hasbro.
Big Boa kicks open the Cobra barracks door at 0500. That's 5 a.m. and makes everyone do the low crawl up the mountain while pushing a bowling ball with their noses. Then it's a 20-mile run through the bramble thickets, more push-ups than you want to know about, and a 2-mile swim upstream with flak jacket and helmet. After breakfast, he starts on the hard stuff.
Well, if I had to give Big Boa a real name, the fact that he kicks open doors at 5 a.m. makes me feel like it might be a Hans Chow.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll give him the name of Hans Chow. But it doesn't say where he's from, so we can't necessarily say that he isn't Australian. However, I have a feeling that he's not. Yeah. Have you got any? What do you think? No, not really. We're not gonna put him in the maybe pile. It's just not enough evidence there for me to say that he is Aussie.
Substantiate there.
Anything in there that jumps out at you on this file card?
Mainly the turkey fists.
I love that. I love it. Fist the size of frozen turkeys and pushing up a bowling ball with your nose.
Yeah, that just sounds like great training.
It's okay. It's okay for him because he's wearing a helmet, which I'm sure he's not doing it.
Is that why they're called Cobras? Because they've all worn their noses off. And they look like snake people.
Well, he's not a Kiwi apparently, so that's something. What do you got against Kiwis, Gaz? I mean, it's not a bad file card. It doesn't give you a lot of backstory for him. Like some of the other file cards give you a little bit of backstory before they joined Cobra, but he's basically just the Cobra trainer, and that's all you're going to know about him. This is what he does. This is his function. That's all you're going to know about him. There's nothing else in there. There's nothing to show you what he's done previously, where he was from, what he does after hours. There probably is no after hours. But I can tell you, if you're a blue shirt or a Cobra Viper and you have to be trained up by this guy, it's not going to be fun.
Ew. Yeah.
So this is naked Big Boa. And again, images provided by 3D Joes. And on his own, without an accessory. Now, he never came with any guns, firearms, none of that stuff.
But he is packing butt cheeks.
He is really packing cheeks. I mean, if he was a Kiwi, you'd say he was Australian. So that's a fair point, Gaz. That's a fair point.
True.
We'd take ownership. That's a good point.
He looks like he could hang out with Gluten Carmen, to be honest.
Now he does have some tight buns. I'll give you that. I didn't notice that until you said it, but now that's all I can see. Where does it say his was made in? Is it made in Hong Kong?
Yep.
Where is yours made from? Let's check.
Mine is made in Hong Kong.
Mine is also made in Hong Kong. Mine's starting to discolor a little bit in the legs, so it's starting to go a little bit more of a green color than the blue that it's supposed to be.
Doing the same.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
It is okay. We'll be all right with it.
Like 40-year-old pants.
Yeah, they fade. I've seen some big bowlers with straight up green for pants because they've faded into a green.
Yeah.
All right, let's rank his outfit, Nate.
I reckon it's a solid 8.
Solid 8 out of 10. Is there anything there that you would take away?
I reckon that if instead of being like bare chested, he had some sort of like vest or like armor plating stuff, something that looks heavy, like it's going to weigh him down, because he's got the big metal helmet.
Yeah.
It just like, why the helmet but nothing else?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So like I said, the inspiration came from a couple of different sources, and I guess they thought that it would be an interesting look. And I don't disagree with it, but I do. He didn't come with any firearms. He didn't come with any weaponry. He just came with his cannons, his turkey fists. He came with his turkey fists. But I mean, I think it does look pretty cool. Like even the naked version looks pretty cool. Like if I picked this up loose and I had no idea who Big Boa was and that he was supposed to come with boxing gloves and all of that stuff, I would still think he's a pretty mean-looking guy.
He looks like a badass.
A badass toaster robot man.
Yeah.
With possibly Cyclops laser beams.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I would have thought.
So is the neck painted or is it all one color? No, I think it's a flesh color on the neck. Does yours have flesh color on the neck?
Yep.
Because sometimes what they would do is they just make the whole head one single color. I like that they've made the neck the skin color, so it is an actual helmet. It doesn't really need the hose, I don't think. And subsequent international versions didn't even come with a hose, so it doesn't need it.
Yeah, like if they wanted the hose, they should have just sculpted it.
Right, I agree. He would naturally be Sarge's opposite number in the Cobra then. Well, yeah, I think he could go toe-to-toe with Sarge. Sarge will obviously get the upper hand with his slaughter cannon. But, he does look tough. And I think that's part of it too, right? Because if he didn't have the he came out after the initial one, yeah. So I think Big Bo is possibly 89, 88, 89.
Yeah, okay. And
Sarge was 86.
86.
85, 86.
Yeah, cool.
So a little bit later on. But so at this stage, I think Sarge and the Fridge had already come out, and then this guy. But I think if he didn't have the studded cross on his chest, I think that he would be lacking something, right?
Yeah.
It sort of helps to bulk him up a little bit in the chest. Yeah. 87, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Now we're learning, and that leads me to want to just throw up this bad boy. Let me just get. I need to have this on hand all the time.
Yeah.
Because knowing is half the battle.
Space Commando.
It is half the battle. It is half the battle. That's why I'm happy to have friends in the comment section to let us know the stuff that I should have looked up before going live. But I think it's good. I like the color palette. The red and the blue is very Cobra.
Yep, for sure.
He looks tough. I think without the vest, without the cross on his chest, he wouldn't have looked as buff. I think his arms are suitably buff, but they probably could have been a little bigger. But the boots are interesting, aren't they?
Yeah, they're cool. I like them.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how to explain. It's like a. Do you reckon they would have some sort of springiness to them, or do you think they'd be solid? Because I get a feeling that it would be like an athlete sort of boot or a wrestling boot would have a little bit of
Yeah, so like you could spring about, be a bit more
Yeah.
nimble. Yeah,
But I think it's a good look. I like it. I'm not sure what's on the belt buckle. Maybe just a clasp. Looks a little bit more. Hey, does yours have 3 or 4 nubs on the belt?
3.
Yeah, mine's got 3, but it looks like there should be a 4th.
Yeah, don't know what that's about.
So I'm gonna give Big Boa. I really love the wacky ones, right? And I knew that as soon as we started dipping a toe in Cobra, I wanted to bring out some of the wacky ones. So it was almost going to be Crocmaster. Raptor would be one to have another good look at. But yeah, I love the wackiness of Big Boa. So I had to have a little bit of a look at him. And because you have one on hand, it'd be nice for you to know a little bit more about a character that you do have and check out potentially all the things that you need to complete him.
Yeah.
I actually think I have some spare boxing gloves. So if you need another one. I'm not sure if I have another Joe punching bag, though, but I'll have a look. I'll have a look and see what I got, buddy.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
But guess what?
Yes.
Our journey with Big Boa is not over because there's actually a little bit more that goes with it. And that is they reused him for Street Fighter 2's Balrog.
Oh, so they did.
So it's all the same. It's the same torso. It's the same legs. Everything's the same except for the head. They sculpted a new head for him.
Yeah.
It's got the same gloves but without the Cobra symbol, and they gave him a mixed match of weaponry. It's the old weapon sprue and spring launcher.
Yeah. I've got
So
that.
he came.
I've got that weapon here somewhere. I haven't got Balrog, but I've got the weapon.
What, the spring launcher?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So
in a baggie here somewhere.
he at least came with more accessories like weaponry than Big Boa did, but I would argue that neither of them need it. Neither Balrog nor Big Boa needed this amount of weaponry. No guns required. But what do we think of the color palette of the blue and white on Balrog here? Better or worse or just as good as the?
I'd say worse. It doesn't quite pop.
Yeah.
And like if they're going to do it, then they should have at least done a bit more detailing on the belt area. Yeah, probably would have broken it up a bit. It's not bad. It's funny that they're like, because I've seen your SWC thing like Balrog training. Never noticed it's the same art, the same cross piece.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it's not the same. I've got this version, but I also have. Let me just. I also have this guy's got his own hoodie thing too. But this guy comes with blue gloves, and if I can open it up a little, I've got it tied up at the moment. He's got the white T-shirt underneath.
Ah, okay.
He's using a different torso and legs. The legs are different too.
Yeah.
He's using a different torso and legs. This one's the movie version with custom.
The robes.
Custom robes, which I think is much better for his character, like his game character. This, I feel like they went, okay, we've got a boxing Cobra. Let's just put Balrog's head on that same guy and give him the boxing gloves and everything. Like, it doesn't make any sense otherwise.
Why not?
Because he doesn't look like that in the game. But I do think that it's at least an interesting look at something like when they repaint a mold in different colors, and this is arguably as different as it can get paint wise. But it really does show what difference paint does make. And I don't think that it quite stands out as much as the red and the blue do. So I'm glad that they ended up doing a second version of Balrog with blue gloves and the different pants. He's using the body and legs of Salvo, a G.I. Joe I'm not sure if you're familiar with. Does that ring a bell?
No, does not ring a bell. But the blue gloves are pretty sick. I like them.
Yeah, the blue gloves are cool. And I like that they gave them something different so that you don't have to have all just the red ones. And just when you think that's all there is, there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more. So I want to. Now we've been on the hunt for an Aussie, and something that we weren't even sure we were doing until we got to Recondo, which is a starting episode. So I don't know. It just became a thing after Recondo, trying to figure out if any of these Joes or Cobras are Australian. Now there was, like I said, there was the Fun School version of Big Bowl, which is basically just the regular Big Bowl, but a slightly different paint job. But they ended up coming up in Brazil, a whole new character with the same mold as Big Bowl. But it wasn't called Big Bowl, right? Different paint, mostly, a bit similar, but different paint in some regards, different name and different backstory. I present to you Kangor.
I like that. And he's kangaroo.
He does come with kangaroo.
Everyone knows that we box kangaroos.
Exactly. If you're going to come with an animal,
he would have to be an Australian. He would.
So, now I don't often think that the international repaints are superior to the original, but this is pretty good.
The black,
right? The black helmet. The black helmet with the silver really pops, and the original one's pretty damn good too. But there's something, it doesn't need the hose, I don't think, but it just, the black on there is brilliant. He's put whoever's taken this photo has put the gloves on the wrong hand, but that makes total sense seeing him with a kangaroo. It does. If you've seen some of the YouTube videos that are floating around, that would be a grail piece for me. I reckon that you could do it on the cheap if you just got some black paint and painted a big boa. It's basically. And
I'll keep an eye out for a little packet of little plastic animals and find a kangaroo.
Yeah. Exactly. Phil, we'll hook you up. But the boots aren't as coloured, so it's missing the red. It's got the blue legs still. It's got a little bit of paint missing on the belt buckle, but it's mostly the same colour pattern, except the Cobra symbol, which they've attempted. They've attempted the Cobra symbol. It's a bit smudgy.
It just looks like brackets.
Yeah, it does. But the helmet, I think, man, that looks great.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, that kangaroo. We'll hook you up with some kangaroo. If you want plastic kangaroos, guys, we'll hook you up. We'll hook you up on plastic kangaroos. Now, his name is Kangor. He comes with a kangaroo. Is he Australian?
He would have to be.
He would have to be, right?
Right.
However, sadly, according to his file card, and subsequent releases in the figure subscription service, I think did one. He just visited Australia and kidnapped a kangaroo.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it? Unbelievable. So yeah, we've come closer.
No kangaroo would help him after that. Those guys hold grudges,
don't they? You try riding in the pouch of one kangaroo one time, and they never let it go.
I can't walk through our paddocks without one standing up going, "Hey, fight me!"
Yeah, right. There's no. I mean, this does look like a bit of a tiny roo, though. This is a Joey for sure. Because a big red would tower over Big Boa.
Oh yeah.
Or Kangor in this. Is it a wallaby? It's a good point. Is it a wallaby? We have wallabies in New Zealand. We'll claim him. All right, we're giving back. We're giving back to the Kiwis.
Yeah, okay. See, it goes both ways now.
So the roos do get very big here, though, like huge. Like they will mess you up. This is a tiny roo. This is not worth the trouble. I think this is probably the size that he got him to smuggle him out, but he would have gotten big, taller than me. I'm not very tall. As tall as the Sarge, I reckon our roos can get. But I am distracted over the gloves being on the wrong hand. That is a distraction. So I don't know. What are we giving this guy? If you gave Big Boa an 8 out of 10, what do you think Kangor is going to get?
Probably a 7. He's
7.
Yeah, he could use a little bit more detail. Like the red on the boots looks a lot better than not having the red on the boots, and obviously the belt buckle.
Yeah. Like it's a similar paint job. I'm gonna show you a picture of the. I don't have an image handy, so I'm gonna just pull it up on my phone. An image of the Fun School version, and this one's available on eBay right now. Hang on a second, I'll just solo myself.
For only 5 easy payments.
So, as you can see, it's mostly the same, but that head. It's just. I'd give this one a 3.
Yeah, a 3's generous.
And the boxing bag is different. It's not even the same one. It doesn't say Joe on it, I don't think. But
I think it's a different shape and everything. It's
definitely a different. The base of it's definitely different. I don't know about. I'm not sure. It looks different for the bag itself. Can anyone deny or confirm whether that boxing bag is the same mold but in a different color?
And it's all one color, where the other one's got the black stick with the red top. And
What did Kangor come? Oh, exit solo. Get me off of the screen. Woo! Let's see what Kangor came with. Maybe just the kangaroo and the boxing gloves. I think just the kangaroo and the boxing gloves is what he came with. According to this image, it was just the kangaroo and the boxing gloves. But he does look good. So I would give Fun School version a 3 max. I give this guy a 7. Big Boa. I think I would give Big Boa a 9. He's an almost perfect Cobra for me because he's got.
He's a fantastic figure.
Yeah, even without any of his gear on, I just think that he is a great looking action figure, well sculpted figure, and great to go up against Sarge. Shameless plug. And Space Commander will agree with me because he's seen it. I've started it, guys, but I've got these guys going up against each other. Big Bowler versus Balrog. The match we didn't know we needed until we got there, and yeah, I'm making it happen eventually. But so yes, it was my turn to Padaroo on holiday to Sydney there, but all the other tourists pushed in, and sadly it was not meant to be. Oh, that's sad. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Rob Vegas gives it an 11. He's dialed it all the way to 11. It is a great figure, and that's our look at Ding Ding Big Boa, or wobble legs as you got. Mine doesn't have wobble legs.
Yeah,
yours is far superior with the kick action.
He retired from boxing and he's now an Irish dancer. Michael Flatley.
So, in conclusion, Big Boa is an action figure a G.I. Joe action figure, Cobra action figure that comes with 0 firearms, 0 bladed weapons, but probably the best accessories that you would see on any random. I mean, it's just extra boxing gloves that slip over the hands.
Yeah, that's cool. Like they
without taking the thumbs,
could have just cheaped out and sculpted
fists on, right?
Yeah. So like the fact that they went to the extra effort to make them removable, that's good. That's Joe. That's
because my first instinct was thinking to myself, yeah, that's a good point. I agree. Wobbly legs makes for faster footwork. I agree. He doesn't stand too well, but he's got that fancy footwork.
Yeah, I've got him sitting in a boat.
So that makes sense.
He's big.
So when I big, all right, that got me. Hey, Nodsy's here. How are you, buddy? So when it was almost a knee-jerk reaction when I was thinking to myself, what is he missing? And I almost went with, he just needs to come with a gun or something, right? But then I thought, well, why? Why does he need to? Right? He's not going to be able to hold them anyway when he's got his gloves on. And when are you going to have Big Boa without his gloves anyway?
It would be cool if he came with an extra pair of gloves that just had 2 spikes.
Yes.
Just something like that.
Like knuckles.
Yeah.
Why didn't they think of that? Like, he's already got an abundance of spikes on him.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's see, they would have tied in perfectly, and then he's got training gloves, and he's got I'm gonna F shit up gloves. So
we might as well. Did we rank where we thought Boa was in comparison to Big Boa?
I reckon he's a 7.
That's pretty high up.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's not as good as the color scheme there. I think his head's a little bit big for his body.
Mm.
Yeah, and just like a bit of extra paint detail, maybe it change the colors around a little bit.
The head does work a lot better when he's on the salvo body. I can't take the thing off at the moment, but the body itself.
It could also just be like the angle that he's in the packet in as well. It looks a bit oversized from here, but I suppose if you stand up straight and lift his head up, it probably looks a lot better.
Posture, that's the problem. That's right. Bad posture makes your head big, boys. Maybe something like Road Pig. Yeah, maybe we'll have to go. We'll have to do Road Pig as well. Road Pig would be a good one to look at.
Yeah. Okay. But like he looks like a badass. He looks like he'd mess you up.
So I think, yeah, definitely. But I still stand by the fact that they probably just went, well, we've got Big Boa, reuse that. He already comes with gloves, right?
Yeah.
I would give it, if I'm giving Fun School a 3, I would give this guy a 6. Right? He's not as good. I don't think it was executed poorly. I think the color palette is an interesting choice. It doesn't look bad. It just, if I had have gotten this instead of Big Boa, I probably would have thought, oh man, this is great, tough guy, right? Yep. But because Big Boa was so well executed, it's almost a 10 out of 10 for me. But the for Big Boa is almost a 10, giving him a 9. But yeah, I don't hate it, but at the same time, it just seems it's too easy. It's too easy for them, and it comes with almost too many things now.
Yeah, it's
right?
a lot, isn't it?
Why any of these came with guns, I don't know.
He'd be a nightmare to try and complete. Like if that was your thing.
Hello, Rolando. How are you, bud? Interesting card art, though. I do like it. Yeah, I do like the card art.
That would have just looked fantastic walking into a toy shop and just seeing a bunch of those Street Fighter cards up there.
And they're official G.I. Joe branded Street Fighter, so they're part of the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no weapons was perfect. That's right. I agree. But because when I first thought, oh, maybe he needs a gun or something, and then I thought, well, look what Balrog comes with. Oh, that's way too much. But back then, I think this must have been the 90s by this stage, right? 1990 maybe, right? 91. Someone bail me out here. What year did these ones come out? But they were all coming with spring-loaded launchers, and they were all pretty much coming with the same weapons tree. Interestingly, Vega didn't even come with a set of claws that were available for G.I. Joe, but they didn't give him any. It's so weird. It's so weird.
Drop the ball there.
The artwork is great. I agree. Like someone really put a lot of effort. Someone looked at this figure and went, "Oh, really? Okay. I know what I'll do. I'll bring his arm up over his chest so you can't see too much of it." Thanks, Rob. 1993. Oh, that was really into the thick of the 90s then.
Mm.
That was a lot later than I thought it was. Well, that's everything I've got on Balrog, on Big Boa, and Rocky Balboa. Let's rank. Before we leave. What would you have given this guy had he come out?
It's hard to tell if that. I reckon he'd be a solid 7 or 8. I reckon by the time if they did it right.
7 or an 8, yeah.
Like it didn't need to look exactly like Sly, but you know I would have loved that. You know, like. You could have like I probably would have seen it. I wouldn't have read the word though. I would have just gone, "That's Rambo. He's a perfect G.I. Joe."
Yeah. Where's his guns? He comes with boxing gloves.
Why didn't he come with a big knife?
But I stand by the fact that he was probably meant to have come with the Joe boxing bag.
Quite possibly.
That's what I think.
Hmm.
So I think for the next episode, Nate, we might dip a toe into Dreadnought territory. What do you think?
That sounds good because everyone talks about Dreadnoughts and I have no idea what they are.
So how much more of Big Boa now rings a bell for you?
A lot. He definitely rings a bell.
Did you learn anything today?
I did. I learned a lot and now I know.
Because knowing is half the battle.
Space Commando.
I love that he did that. All right, guys. Well, when are we back, Nate?
A week maybe if you haven't got anything on.
Come back again next week.
Yeah. Next
Look
Monday.
at a Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Have you got anything coming up? I know that you do.
Yeah. I've been working away on a very, very special secret project that will hopefully finish off the video soon. And get it out into the world.
So make sure, ding, 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 knockout show, lads. Look at those puns. Great show. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you are subscribed to Nate, the Retro Tinker, my mate, Nate, fellow Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
And we're going to do a deep dive next week into a Dreadnought. Do you think we're going to find an Aussie there?
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? We're going to figure it out together. So do check out Nate. Thanks to 3D Joes for giving us those images. Subscribe to Nate. Hit the like button here if you haven't already. And with that, we will say, Yo, Joe, and full force, and Cobra. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey man, no strangers here. These times I hold them dear. Doors open, so come on in. Yeah, that was great. Let's do it again. Do you wanna come over? Just like the old times, we hit pause and then hit rewind. You wanna come over? Just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly. Do you wanna come over? Just like the old times, we hit pause and then hit rewind. You wanna come over? Just like the old days, and we'll watch the time just fly.
Because knowing is half the battle.
Space Commando.